When the old house finally went silent after Margaret Hill's funeral, her relatives filled the rooms with whispers, sharp looks, and quiet calculations. The walls still smelled of lavender and furniture polish, but no one seemed to notice. Everyone had come for one reason only, the inheritance. And among them, standing near the doorway with her hands clasped, was Emily Carter, Margaret's niece, the one nobody expected anything from. Emily had grown up visiting her aunt every summer, helping her in the garden, listening to stories by the fireplace. But in recent years, life had been hard. She worked 2 jobs, barely paid rent, and never asked anyone for help. When Margaret fell ill, Emily was the only one who came regularly, cooking meals, cleaning the house, holding her hand on long, quiet nights. Still, Emily never imagined that kindness would count for anything today. The lawyer cleared his throat and began reading the will. One by one, names were called, and items were assigned. The house went to Uncle Robert. The car to Cousin Linda. Jewelry, stocks, savings accounts, each announcement brought satisfied nods and small smiles. Emily stood still, her heart beating faster with every word, even though she told herself not to expect anything. Finally, the lawyer looked up and said her name. Emily Carter. The room fell quiet. A few heads turned, some curious, some annoyed. You are to receive the mattress from the guest bedroom. A brief pause followed, then a soft laugh escaped from somewhere near the window. Emily felt her face burn, but she said nothing. She simply nodded. After the meeting, the relatives wasted no time. They began discussing renovations, selling prices, and moving dates. No one offered Emily a ride or a kind word. She waited until the house emptied, then walked upstairs alone. The guest bedroom looked just as it always had, simple, clean, untouched. The old mattress rested on a wooden frame, its fabric faded but neatly covered. Emily sighed. A mattress. She thought of her cramped apartment, the thin, sagging bed she slept on every night. Maybe, she told herself, this was still something useful. With effort, she dragged the mattress off the frame, planning how she'd somehow get it home. As she lifted one corner, something felt strange. The mattress was heavier than it should have been. Frowning, Emily pressed down on it and felt a firm shape beneath the padding. Her heart skipped. She hesitated, then carefully unstitched a small section along the seam. Inside, wrapped in plastic and old cloth, was a bundle of envelopes and a small wooden box. Emily's hands trembled as she pulled them out. She opened the first envelope and froze. It was filled with cash. The second one too. And the third. Tears welled in her eyes before she even opened the box. At this point in the story, if you're feeling that knot in your chest like Emily did, take a second to breathe. And if stories like this touch your heart, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It truly helps us keep sharing moments that remind us what really matters. Inside the wooden box was a letter, written in Margaret's familiar handwriting. Emily sat on the floor and began to read. Margaret wrote about watching her family change over the years, about how greed slowly replaced love. She wrote about Emily's visits, her quiet care, her patience. I wanted to give you something they could never fight over, the letter said. Something they wouldn't see the value of. The cash was enough to change Emily's life. Not millions, but enough to pay her debts, move to a better place, maybe even go back to school like she always dreamed. At the bottom of the letter, Margaret had written one final line. Never let the world make you bitter. Stay the way you are. Emily closed the box and cried, not just from relief, but from feeling truly seen. For the first time in years, she didn't feel invisible. She spent the next few days quietly arranging her life, never telling the relatives what she had found. There was no need. Margaret's gift was personal, not something to boast about. Months later, Emily moved into a small but bright apartment. She donated part of the money to a local hospice in Margaret's name. On her bed lay the same mattress, repaired and cleaned, a silent reminder of where it all began. Sometimes, late at night, Emily would sit on it and reread the letter. As for the relatives, arguments soon broke out over repairs, taxes, and shared expenses. The house became a burden, not a blessing. Emily heard about it through distant conversations, but she felt no anger, only a quiet sense of peace. In the end, the lesson was clear. What we leave behind isn't always what we own, but how we treat those who stand by us when we have nothing left to give. Greed blinds, but kindness sees. And sometimes, the greatest treasures are hidden where only the deserving will ever think to look.